Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back. Normally I talk about individual wines that are interesting and something different to try, but today we're going to talk about an entire country. We're going to Portugal. So out of all the European countries that make wine, Portugal might be one of the least understood, and for several reasons. One is because of its physical isolation on the tip of the Iberian Peninsula, and the second one was because they had years and years of political turmoil which kind of held them back. Portugal was a great seafaring nation in the ancient times. They were sailors, they were explorers, they were conquerors, but interestingly, they didn't let a lot of outsiders in, so it remained isolated for a really long time. And in the 1930s, Antonio Salazar came into power. He was the prime minister of Portugal, but he was basically a dictator, and he took over the country for the next 40 years. And he nationalized most of the industry in the country, so a lot of the wineries were turned into co-ops, and they were making like real cheap, low-quality wine. So it's only in the past 30 or 40 years, mostly since Portugal joined the European Union, when they started to get cash infusions into the industry and it became privatized again, that the quality wines really start to flow. It's less traditional than in other European countries, and you're seeing a lot more progressive and modern winemaking techniques. So the interesting side effect, or benefit, I guess, to all of this is that Portugal has maintained their own indigenous grape varieties. You're only going to find them in Portugal, basically. I've got 3 wines here, and they're spread out all over the country, essentially. So we're going to get a taste of a couple different regions here. All right, too much talking and not enough drinking.
All right, don't leave me hanging.
Nope, it's a Saturday night, man.
That's right.
Everybody drinks.
It's also Festivus.
Oh yeah, Festivus, for the rest of us.
That's right. Clink.
Oh, wait. You thought I was going to drink. I got one. Yeah, I got one more fact that I want to throw your way.
Right,
it's interesting because you think of Portugal and you're like, man, that's a country. It's got to be big, but it's actually, I think it's like 360 miles top to bottom, and it's only 120 miles wide. And this first wine that we're trying here is from the Bairrada region. Bairrada. Bairrada is in the north central region of Portugal, and this is made by a man named Luís Pato. So if you know I don't know if you know Portuguese at all, but
I do not. My dad does.
They're S's. They pronounce them sh. So right. Instead of Louis, it would be Luís.
Oh, cool.
So this guy is named Luís Pato, and Pato is also a duck in Portuguese. So his symbol on his bottles is that duck. He's known for making like these really cool, funky wines. This one in particular is made from an indigenous grape called Baga. And Luís Pato has kind of like championed the Baga grape, so this is kind of his jam.
So this will be kind of on the funkier side then?
Yeah, this is going to be, like we were saying, a lot of the winemaking attitude in Portugal is very progressive and very liberal, right. So like they're sometimes a little crunchy too.
Okay.
It's definitely funky, man.
Right.
Yeah, there's like a musk note on there that almost smells like sort of like foxy. And that is a 2019, so it's a relatively young wine. It's only 3 years old. It drinks like an older wine. So I'm gonna guess that maybe he oxidized it a little bit. Some winemakers do that on purpose.
Like it's almost got like a kombucha taste to it. It tastes very fermented.
Earthy.
Yeah, very earthy.
Yeah. This one here is from nearby, close to Bairrada. This is from a region called the Douro. The Douro is the largest winemaking region in Portugal. Makes mostly red wines. And this is made by a guy named Carlos Raposo. And he was sort of like a child genius who started making wine when he was in his teens.
Wow.
Then he went to France and he studied and worked for some of the best wineries in France for a while. And this is a blend made from 4 native grapes. Let me see if I can get this right. Touriga Nacional, which is considered to be sort of like Portugal's national grape. Tinto Roriz, Alfaro Chiro, and one that I'm probably going to slaughter the name of. It's Yain. That's a mouthful, man. And it's one of the reasons why people have such a hard time approaching Portuguese wines or understanding them. But it's a real shame because these are amazing wines. More fruit in this one, definitely. Yeah, this one almost reminds me a little bit of a Bordeaux wine. There's like a cassis kind of character coming out. The other thing about Portuguese wines in general is that they don't do a lot of oak aging. This one's a little more tannic, but yeah, definitely like kind of blackberry, cassis, even African violet, which is an interesting descriptor that not a lot of people really understand because who's sitting around eating African violets?
Exactly. So yeah, way less funk factor on this one.
Yeah. Right. So you've had a chance to try it now. So what did you think?
Well, it is exactly as you described. It's more French, which I guess would stand to reason since you said he studied there, right?
And for this last wine, we are going down south to a region called the Alentejo. So this is a warmer region, makes for these intense high alcohol reds. This uses a grape called Trincadeira, Aragonés, which is actually Spanish Tempranillo.
Same grape, right?
Same grape, just the Portuguese name.
Okay.
Alicante Boucher, which is a French grape from the south of France, and Cabernet Sauvignon.
So more French than anything. Is that
More French, yeah. This is going to be probably the most French in style. And this is a 2018, so it's got a little bit of age on it. It's not really that old, but
more legit age than the other.
yeah, this is coming off like kind of like a young Bordeaux. Yeah, I think I like that one the best.
Really?
Yeah, it's nice and balanced. The alcohol level's good. It's complex. There's like these layers of fruit, and then the body, the alcohol level is just like nice and rich. So it's time to talk about some food pairings for wines like this. I dug a little bit into Portuguese culture and found some dishes that I think would be easy enough to recreate here in the United States. One of them is called moelas, or moelas, I guess, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes, right.
Yeah, and it's chicken gizzards in like a tomato sauce, and you use little like little pitchforks, little toothpicks, little pitchforks.
I'm not a gizzard.
You're not a gizzard man?
I'm not a gizzard man, but I could be turned.
You can probably just get chicken livers and do them in like a tomato sauce,
The same kind of dish.
and it would probably be awesome with all these wines.
Right.
And this is something interesting in our culture right now, like tinned fish is like really big.
Oh, it's huge now.
Yeah, it's like in all the restaurants here in the United States right now.
The hipster thing.
It's like a hipster trend. Are hipsters around now?
I don't know.
What do they call them
It
now?
might be extinct. I don't know.
But over in Portugal, it's a way of life.
Like sardines and
Sardines and tuna and even like oysters.
what do you think? Like the first one, the funkiest one.
Well, my mind goes straight to like game meats. That funk factor is like good with like lamb or like venison, things that like kind of have a little bit of a funk to them as well.
I'm down.
Yeah, cheeses, hard cheese, always great with red wine. There are two Portuguese cheeses that I learned about. One of them is called Avora cheese, and I think it's a sheep's milk cheese.
Okay.
And then there's one called Sal Jorge, queso Sal Jorge, and it comes from the Azores. You can probably just go with like a bandaged cheddar from England too, like with the crystals, like the little crunchy crystals in it. That's always really good with red wine. What's the takeaway? What was the takeaway for you? You've tried them all.
There's a lot to be offered from Portugal. Right?
Yeah, it's a range of styles, and like you're getting like a little bit more like kind of like funky and edgy here, and you're getting something that's a little bit more approachable and international here.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did it. It was a
Successful trip.
successful trip and a worthy exploration, and apparently there's a fire.
We were getting a siren to
Thanks so much for drinking with me. It's been a hell of a year. We've made so many videos, and I appreciate every one of you out there watching them, so thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, just do me a small favor and subscribe to the channel so you get these videos. It would mean the world to me. Take care of yourselves, have an enjoyable holiday season, and I'll see you on the other side in a couple of weeks. 2024, here we come. Cheers, everybody. Oh, and thanks to Justin, too.
Thank you.